Come on, man, please.
We'll eat both your arms and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right off your head.
Look, man.
You will be.
Well, those movies will all take place in the world that we are now creating for Peter Parker. I mean, there'll be adjuncts to it. They may be different locations, but it will still all be in the same world, and they will be connected to each other as well.
So there is a chance that Tom Holland as Spider-Man will pop up somewhere over there?
Chance.
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance.
What is good, YouTube? Warstu here, and in this video we're going to break down the new Spider-Man deal properly, because we're seeing a lot of misleading, a lot of confused people about what has actually happened, and there's a lot more details to this new Spider-Man MCU Venomverse deal that most people don't even know about or are interpreting wrong. So we're going to break this down. So as you've seen in the interview, which is from the press junket for Homecoming, which is years ago now, Amy Pascal essentially said eventually Spider-Man will be connected to Venom. And then you have Mr. Kevin Feige looking confused and is thinking this is never going to happen, but she's got her own way, hasn't she? Because now Spider-Man can essentially appear in any movie that they want inside the Sony verse, which is also the Venomverse. So I made a video the other day and a lot of people kind of laughed in the comment section saying, "What, Stu, you're wrong, you're wrong." No, the Spider-Man official Venom Sony Marvel full slate, it's still real. We'll go into that in a bit. So let's get into this video. So essentially what has happened over the last couple of days is Thursday night, negotiations involved the top players from both the studios, including Sony Pictures Chief Executive Tom Rothman, Kevin Feige, Walt Disney's co-chairs Alan Horn, Alan Bergman, I believe that's how you say it, in exchange for lending Feige's producing prowess. Marvel and Disney will receive 25% of profit, but here's the punchline. This is for all Spider-Man related projects. It's not just for Spider-Man. So Venom 2, etc. The next 4 to 5 years, obviously, we're never going to get to see the contract unless it leaked. But this is not just for the next Spider-Man movie. This is for all Spider-Man related things. Disney will co-finance 25% of everything. Okay, so not many publications or people are talking about this. According to insiders, we've learned that. Disney will still retain its merchandise rights for the Spider-Man merchandise, which is actually worth over $1 billion. So Disney have the better deal for that part. And they will put up roughly quarter of the financing as part of the new arrangement. But that's for everything, guys. Venom 2, etc. for everything. So Disney, Marvel are kind of connected to like all the future Spider-Man projects in a way. Spider-Man will also get to appear in one future Marvel Studios movie. That's most likely going to be something like Avengers 5, New Avengers, Young Avengers, something like that. The film is scheduled to come out July the 16th, 2021. Amy Pascal is probably the reason why the deal went through, and she will produce it through Pascal Pictures as she has on the first 2 of Tom Holland's led films. So that is breaking that part of it down properly, because a lot of people don't understand that, yeah, Marvel aren't just co-financing Spider-Man 3, they're co-financing all the Spider-Man related things for the next 4 to 5 years, and then it's looking like they will most likely try to renegotiate something after this is done, because there's a lot of publications out there that are misleading everyone. I mean, every kind of website you can think of. Is Kevin Feige writing Spider-Man out the MCU? I don't even understand, guys, where this is coming from. In a statement that Kevin Feige said, he happened to say that Spider-Man is the only superhero who can cross cinematic universes. So as Sony continues to develop their own Spideyverse, you never know what surprises this may lead. Now then, everyone's coming out saying Spider-Man 3, they're going to end the story of Spider-Man. Yes, I agree with that point, they are, because not many characters out in the MCU, except for maybe Thor, get past 3 movies. So Spider-Man will be better to come back for, say, something like Secret Wars or, you know, Young Avengers, New Avengers, something like that. After Spider-Man 3, do we really need another Spider-Man movie? Probably not. So then we go back to the slate that I did the other day. So Spider-Man 4, I believe, actually will go back to Sony, and Marvel will have to like it. But like I said, Marvel are actually co-financing all Sony properties. So, you know, we know that Spider-Man will be meeting Venom at some point. So maximum carnage, you know, Venom, Carnage, because Carnage has kind of been introduced in a way. We did kind of see him. So if they are going to include Tom Holland's Spider-Man, why wouldn't they do Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage in one movie rather than, you know, blowing their load before they need to? So I do believe that Spider-Man will make some kind of cameo role in the background, maybe on a TV. He will be in Venom 2 in some capacity, because you've got to think that if Spider-Man left the MCU, it wasn't just bad for the next Sony movie, it would have been bad for the MCU, because we've read loads of comments on this channel, loads of comments on Twitter, etc. People were threatening to boycott the MCU if Spider-Man didn't return that, which is really sad and pathetic. I've even seen some websites boycotting the whole Spider-Man franchise if Spider-Man wasn't part of the MCU, which is really sad and pathetic. So it would have had a real bad negative impact on Venom 2, also on Black Widow, really, even though that Spider-Man would have had nothing to do with it. People saying they were going to boycott that, like boycott the whole of the MCU, which is really strange. As we know, Venom 2 goes into production, and it's mainly filming in London in the end of November, I believe. I mean, guys, if you know anyone on the casting, please get me a cameo role on Venom 2. Tom Hardy actually has spoken briefly before Venom 2 came out, and he was talking more like it was a solo thing, but Tom Holland, Tom Hardy, they're both game to go one-on-one at some point. Now, Woody Harrelson is Carnage, but we've not really met him yet. So they are filming a lot of it in London, which is pretty cool, but that's obviously for tax breaks purposes. If you ever wonder why movies tend to film in Canada or in Europe outside of America, is they get a lot of tax break when they do them kind of things. That's actually the reasoning why they do it. So as we know, specifically in this new deal, it allows more fluency in terms of Tom Holland to basically go between studios and franchises at will. Now, during the press junket, I guess you could say, for Homecoming, Spider-Man Tom Holland says that if they were to ever meet, it would have to be in the MCU because he's not losing his ticket. Sit down, son. You ain't got the ticket. At the end of the day, if they tell you to be in a Spider movie that's got nothing to do with the MCU, then you're going to do it, or you're going to lose a lot of money and you won't be Spider-Man any longer. So it's really fascinating to me when an actor says things like that. Like, the actor is not bigger than the movie. Anyone can be replaced. You know, so it's interesting. So I believe Spider-Man 4 will take part inside the Sony verse and not inside the MCU. I don't really understand where everyone's saying. I mean, even the website that actually dropped it, The Hollywood Reporter, basically is insinuating 3-4 ways to write Peter Parker out of the MCU before the New Deal extension runs out. I mean, it's an interesting article, but it essentially says they could kill him off the death of Spider-Man storyline. Spider-Man was never really there, which, I mean, God, that is a bit crazy, guys. Spider-Man was never there, really. Put him into Spideyverse. Assuming Sony wishes to keep Tom Holland and the current Spider-Man cast together for future project, there might need to be an explanation for why he no longer seems in the same world. Superheroes, there's relevant, effortless ways to do it, essentially saying that he could just go into Spideyverse instead of being in the MCU movies. But realistically, Spider-Man 4 won't be made with MCU. It literally makes no sense. That story was always a trilogy. But why I say that Sony will be making the 4th Spider-Man movie is because, spoiler warning, they originally wanted 4 movies of them to do the 4th movie, so it makes the most sense now. And I got a lot of people, because what happened is I dropped my Spider-Man Sony Marvel official slate video about an hour before the real news drop, but my opinion still does not change. I mean, there's a comment here, well, that video is only 1 hour old and it's already horribly outdated. I don't really agree with that comment, because like I said, Spider-Man will be part of all these franchises and Marvel is co-financing all of these other projects, which is very interesting. I don't think Tom Holland's going to appear in Morbius, that is set to come out July 31st, 2020. It's already been shot. I think reshoots will be happening very soon. I'm not expecting a trailer till early January because it is a summer release, and generally it's 6 months prior to a movie coming out. But it is going to be very interesting to see what else is in this deal. I mean, we've not actually had a proper look at it because we never get out. We just get like sent stuff and stuff comes out in the news. But we don't know if the Marvel Cinematic Universe has access to the Sinister Six, or is Sony going to go ahead and do their own Sinister Six. But guys, please stop reading the headlines. If you read the headlines, read the whole story, because there's a lot of publications out there doing the, oh, Kevin Feige is going to kill Spider-Man off storyline, whereas we've published an article on warstu.com where I just break it down what really is happening. And essentially nothing is happening. And also, I'd love to know, I think Spider-Man 3 should be called Spider-Man Comes Home. But then you've got the spoiler warning, I don't want to ruin life. Then you've got the whole kind of Spider-Man is exposed storyline at the end of the most recent Spider-Man movie, and also the fact that the MCU Spider-Man was gone is negatively going to impact the Blu-ray sales. So it's all business. Marvel wins, Sony wins. No one really won in this debate. I mean, I think giving up 25% is a lot, but it's not really a lot when you think about it. 75% still goes back to Sony, and also Sony saved 25% of their budget, so they don't have to put the whole 100% in. But guys, let me make it clear, this is for all of their properties. You know, Venom 2, in Spider-Verse 2, not just for Spider-Man 3 and the extension. But I'm sure the companies seem to like each other. As long as Amy Pascal is in the equation, there will not be an issue. Like we've always said, guys, I know a lot of you guys come at me in the comment section. I never said I didn't want Spider-Man in the MCU. I said it doesn't really make any difference, because overall, they all know the plan. There's a master plan that Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige have. I know she's at Universal now, but she's still heavily involved with the Spider-Man franchise. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Check out warstu.com for the most reliable stories with Star Wars, games, DC, Marvel, pop culture, and now movie reviews. That's going to be pretty cool. And if we ever hit 100,000 subscribers, I will be giving away a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X with Spider-Man Game of the Year Edition or Gears of War 5, because that would be awesome. We recently hit 75,000, which is a massive achievement for anyone. So like always, guys, I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.